Hello and welcome to our coverage of the 2032 primary season. The Democrats have a packed field this evening, or this cycle. However, the Republicans only have the current President Ron DeSantis, so he will be deemed as the presumptive nominee right off the gate. Taking a look at nationwide polling before our first primary event. Texas Governor Steve Adler leads the pack of Democrats at 21%, Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff at 19%, Pennsylvania Governor Sarah Innamorato at 16%, Oregon Senator Steve Novick at 12%, Michigan Governor Garland Gilchrist at 9%, West Virginia Senator Richard Ojeda at 6%, the Senate Majority Whip and Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin at 5%, California Senator Ro Khanna at 4%, California Governor John Chiang at 2%, Massachusetts Governor Danielle Allen at 1%, Louisiana Governor Cedric Richmond at 1%, California Congressman Eric Swalwell at 1%, North Carolina Congresswoman Deborah Ross at 1%, Connecticut Congressman Jim Hines at 1%, and California Congresswoman Katie Porter at 1%. And heading into the Iowa primary, we can now project that Sarah Innamorato will make a big upset as she was in third in polling. She will win a plurality in the Iowa primary, winning 20% of the vote. Garland Gilchrist not far behind at 18%. This is where the delegate cutoff is, since no other candidate reached 15%. However, Steve Novick reaches 12%, Ossoff at 10%, Adler at 9%, Baldwin at 7%, Ojeda at 6%, Khanna at 5%, Chiang at 4%, Allen at 3%, Richmond at 2%, and the rest of the field at 1%. Taking a look at the delegate allocations for Iowa, Innamorato will walk away with 21 delegates and Gilchrist will walk away with 20. And just in, Senator Tammy Baldwin will end her 2032 campaign. It was a long shot since she is more needed in the United States Senate as the majority whip, but she will be ending her campaign and endorsing Sarah Innamorato. Out of the New Hampshire primary, Steve Novick will be the projected winner, very popular with the Libertarian voters in the Democrat primary, as well as moderates, as he will win 18% of the votes and probably every single delegate, since no other candidate wins 15%. However, Innamorato not far behind at 14%, Ossoff at 13%, Adler at 12%, Gilchrist at 10%, Allen at 9%, Chiang at 7%, Khanna at 6%. That should say 2%, but Ojeda is at 2%, Richmond at 2%, and the rest of the field with 1% each. And yep, as we said, Steve Novick will walk away with every single delegate from New Hampshire, since he was the only candidate to win 15% or more in the primary. Governor Danielle Allen will withdraw from the 2032 Democrat primary. She will endorse fellow progressive Sarah Innamorato, backing her progressive credentials, as well as her support with white working class voters, as well as minorities, as she is from a very minority-heavy area in Massachusetts. Congressman Jim Hines has announced that he will be ending his campaign in 2032. Considered one of the more libertarian-leaning members of the United States House of Representatives, he's endorsing Steve Novick for president, which is a big surprise for many, as many thought Hines would endorse someone like Ossoff. And now to the Nevada primary. Just like he did 4 years ago, Steve Adler will win the Nevada primary. He will go on to win 19% of the vote. Steve Novick will win 17%, and this is the cutoff for delegates. Ossoff will win 14%, Innamorato will win 12%, Chiang will win 10%, Khanna wins 9%, Gilchrist at his lowest performance yet at 8%, Ojeda at 6%, Richmond at 2%, and the rest of the field will win 1% each. And here is the delegate allocation, as Adler will win 19 delegates and Novick will win 17. Governor John Chiang has ended his 2032 campaign, and he will be endorsing Steve Novick. The two are very politically aligned closely, so this makes sense. And here's a shocker. Senator Ro Khanna has ended his campaign, but instead of endorsing the most progressive candidate in the race like Gilchrist or Innamorato, he is endorsing Steve Novick, which is interesting to see. Congressman Eric Swalwell has dropped out of the Democrat primary. This is his best showing yet. He had a failed performance in 2020, didn't make it to the primary. At least he made it this time, didn't win any delegates. However, he is endorsing Jon Ossoff, which seems like where most of the establishment Democrats are putting their focus behind. Congresswoman Katie Porter has also ended her campaign and joins Eric Swalwell in endorsing Jon Ossoff. Out of the South Carolina primary, continuing his momentum, Steve Adler will be the projected winner out of this state. He will go on to win 21% of the votes. Jon Ossoff finally winning delegates in this primary cycle. However, he fails to win South Carolina. He's in second at 19%. However, his campaign has been more focusing on Super Tuesday states, which is interesting since the last two people who did that was Michael Bloomberg and Rudy Giuliani, and they both failed miserably. Steve Novick is at 15%. The delegate cutoff is right here. Ina Murado is at 14%. Richard Ojeda at 13%. Richmond at 11%. Gilchrist, once again at his lowest yet, at 6%. And Deborah Ross at 1%. The delegate allocation at the state, Steve Adler will win 20 delegates, Ossoff wins 18, and Novick wins 16. Senator Richard Ojeda has ended his 2032 White House bid, and he will be endorsing Richard Ojeda. No surprise here, as Ojeda has said kind things about Novick in the past and said he's one of the better candidates in the field during the campaign season. Governor Cedric Richmond ends his 2032 campaign. He will be endorsing Jon Ossoff for president. Again, backing up with the establishment pick here. Congresswoman Deborah Ross will be joining Cedric Richmond and dropping out of the 2032 campaign and endorsing Jon Ossoff. Here is the delegate count at the end of February. Steve Novick leads the pack at 57 delegates. Steve Adler is second at 39 delegates. Sarah Ina Murado with 21. Garland Gilchrist at 20 and Jon Ossoff at 18. Ossoff spending a lot of money in Super Tuesday. Let's see if that, goes well for him. And here's the nationwide polling heading into Super Tuesday. Steve Adler still leads the pack at 27%. Steve Novick bumps up to second at 24%. Sarah Ina Murado at 17%. However, Jon Ossoff is also at 17%. And Garland Gilchrist is at 13%. Out of the Alabama primary, Steve Adler will be the projected winner, as he will go on to win 30% of the vote. Jon Ossoff at 25%. Novick at 20%. Ina Murado at 15%. And Gilchrist at 10%. Adler will win 18 delegates, Ossoff wins 14, Novick wins 11, and Ina Murado wins 9 delegates. Out of American Samoa's primary, Jon Ossoff will be the projected winner, one of the more well-known candidates in the field. It's no surprise he wins here. He will win 30% of the vote, Novick wins 25%, Adler wins 20, Ina Murado wins 15, and Gilchrist wins 10. Ossoff will win 3 delegates out of American Samoa, while Novick, Adler, and Ina Murado all win 1 apiece. Out of Arkansas, Steve Adler will be the projected winner here, as he will go on to win 30% of the vote, a plurality. Ossoff winning 25%, Novick wins 20, Ina Murado wins 15, and Gilchrist wins 10. Adler will win 10 delegates, Ossoff wins 9, Novick wins 7, and Ina Murado wins 5. Out of California, despite the governor and one of the senators endorsing Steve Novick, Jon Ossoff will win this state, the California primary. He will win this primary, winning 27% of the vote. However, Novick's not far behind at 25%. Ina Murado's at 20%, and Adler's at 16%. Gilchrist at 12%. Ossoff will walk away with 125 delegates. Novick will win 116 delegates. Ina Murado wins 95 delegates, and Adler wins 79 delegates. Out of Colorado's primary, Jon Ossoff will go on to win here. Seems like Ossoff's having a good night so far, as Ossoff wins 24% of the vote. Novick wins 21%. Ina Murado wins 20%, Adler wins 18%, and Gilchrist wins 16%. So every single candidate will win delegates. Ossoff wins 16 delegates, Novick wins 14 delegates, as well as Ina Murado. Adler wins 12, and Gilchrist wins 11. Out of Maine's primary, Steve Novick will be the projected winner. He's seeming to make a stronghold in the Northeast so far. Novick wins 25% of the vote, Ossoff wins 23%, Ina Murado wins 20%, Adler wins 15%, and Gilchrist wins 13%. Novick will walk away with 8 delegates. Ossoff and Ina Murado both win 6. Adler wins 4. At the Massachusetts primary, with the backing of the governor, Sarah Ina Murado will win the Massachusetts primary, and she will walk away with 30% of the vote. Ossoff wins 24%. Novick wins 17. Adler wins 14, and Gilchrist wins 12%. On the delegate count, Ina Murado will win 37 delegates. Ossoff wins 30. Novick wins 24. Out of Minnesota's primary, Sarah Ina Murado will be the projected winner here with her Rust Belt appeal for Democrat voters. Ina Murado wins 30%, Novick wins 24%, Ossoff wins 19%, Adler at 16%, and Gilchrist at 11%. Ina Murado will walk away with 25 delegates, Novick wins 20, Ossoff wins 16, and Adler wins 14. And speaking of Steve Adler, he will win North Carolina's primary, continuing his Southern dominance, winning 30% of the vote, Ossoff at 25%, Novick at 20%, Innamorato at 15%, and Garland Gilchrist at 10%. Adler wins 36 delegates, Ossoff 31, Novick 24, and Innamorato 19. Out of Oklahoma's primary, Steve Adler will be the projected winner here, winning 30% of the vote, Ossoff at 25%, Novick at 20%, Innamorato at 15%, and Gilchrist at 10%. Out of the delegate count, Adler will win 13 delegates, Ossoff wins 10, Novick wins 8, and Innamorato wins 6. Out of Tennessee's primary, Steve Adler is a projected winner here, winning 30% of the vote, Ossoff wins 25%, Novick wins 20%, Innamorato wins 15, and Gilchrist wins 10. Adler will walk away with 21 delegates, Ossoff 18, Novick 14, and Innamorato 11. And out of Texas, Steve Adler will win his home state, however, by a very, very small margin, winning 30% of the vote when he won close to 50 4 years ago in the Democrat primary. Ossoff wins 25%, Novick wins 20, Innamorato wins 15, and Gilchrist at 10. Out of the delegate count, Adler will win 74 delegates, Ossoff wins 64 delegates, Novick wins 51 delegates, and Innamorato wins 39. Gilchrist just shat out of luck in Texas. Out of Utah's primary, Steve Novick will be the projected winner here. Kind of an upset, as many people thought Adler was going to win, or Ossoff, one of the two, as they were very close in the polling. But Novick will make a shock upset, winning 25% of the vote, Ossoff at 23%, Adler at 21%, Innamorato at 16%, and Gilchrist at 15%. So every single candidate will be winning delegates here. Novick will win 8 delegates, Ossoff wins 7, Adler wins 6, while Innamorato and Gilchrist both win 4. Out of Vermont's primary, a very progressive state, Sarah Innamorato will be the projected winner here, as she will win 34% of the vote, Ossoff at 25%, Novick at 16%, Adler at 14%, and Gilchrist at 12%. Innamorato will win 7 delegates, Ossoff will win 6, and Novick will win 3. Out of the Virginia primary, Steve Adler will win this primary. It was either going to be him or Ossoff, but Ossoff was leading by like 1%. However, this isn't as big as an upset as some other calls we made, but Adler is the projected winner here at 30% of the vote, Ossoff at 25%, Novick at 20%, Innamorato at 15%, and Gilchrist at 10%. Adler will win 33 delegates, Ossoff will win 27, Novick wins 22, and Innamorato will win 17. Governor Garland Gilchrist has ended his bid for the White House and has instead chose to support Sarah Innamorato, a fellow progressive, though many would argue Gilchrist is to the left of Sarah Innamorato, and she is a member of the DSA. And here's the delegate count post-Super Tuesday. It seems like Jon Ossoff's plan has worked, as he now has 400 delegates in his belt after Super Tuesday, despite only winning 2 primaries, or 3 if you count American Samoa, California, and Colorado, those 3. Steve Novick's in second at 388, Steve Adler at 360, and Sarah Innamorato at 316. And here's the nationwide polling going through the rest of the primaries. Adler still leads the pack at 28%. Novick's not far behind, though, as he is at 27%. Ossoff at 23%, and Innamorato at 20%. It is just anyone's game. Even this far out in the primary, I mean, something's got to give, or we could see a contested convention. Out of Idaho's primary, Steve Novick is the projected winner, as he will go on to win 28% of the vote. Jon Ossoff at 27%, Steve Adler at 23%, and Sarah Innamorato at 20%. Every single candidate will win delegates. Novick will win 7 delegates. Ossoff wins 5, while Adler and Innamorato both win 4. This should be Adler's stronghold here in Idaho. However, with Steve Novick's left-wing nationalist appeal, it seems like he's winning over more rural voters than Steve Adler's moderate anti-establishment appeal. Out of Michigan, Sarah Innamorato will win this state's primary with the help of the Governor Garland Gilchrist, as she goes on to win 33% of the vote, Ossoff at 25%, Novick at 21%, and Adler at 18%. Sarah Innamorato will win 43 delegates, Ossoff at 32, Novick wins 27, and Adler wins 23. Out of Mississippi, Steve Adler will win this primary, no shock here, winning 32% of the vote, Ossoff at 27%, Novick at 22%, and Innamorato at 17%. And here's the delegate count. Every single candidate will win delegates. Adler wins 12, Ossoff wins 10, Novick wins 8, and Innamorato wins 6. Out of Missouri's primary, big shock here, as it was projected in the polling that Adler would have a safe victory here, but Novick will upset polling winning the state at 31%, Ossoff at 27%. And look at this, Adler is underperforming big time at 22%, while Sarah Inamorato's at 18%. And here's the delegate count. Adler at 22 delegates, Ossoff at 19, Adler wins 15, and Inamorato wins 12. Out of North Dakota, again, taking away a lot of 2028 Adler voters, Adler primary voters, Steve Novick will be the projected winner out of North Dakota, as he wins 31% of the vote, Ossoff at 28%, Adler at 22%, and Inamorato at 17%. Every single candidate wins delegates. Novick at 5, Ossoff at 4, Adler at 3, and Inamorato at 2. Out of Washington's primary, most likely due to the appeal he has due to being next door in Oregon and the senator from there, Novick will win Washington's primary. He's at 34%, Ossoff at 26%, Adler at 20%, and Inamorato at 19%. Out of the delegate threshold count, Novick wins 31, Ossoff wins 24, Adler wins 18, and Inamorato wins 16. And here's the delegate count after Super Tuesday 2. Jon Ossoff still leading despite not winning a single primary on Super Tuesday 2. He's at 494 delegates. Steve Novick at 488 delegates. Steve Adler at 435. And Sarah Inamorato at 399. Out of the Northern Mariana Islands, no surprise here, Jon Ossoff will be the projected winner, winning 50% of the vote, a majority of the vote. Sarah Inamorato at 16%, Steve Novick at 15%, and Steve Adler at 14%. Adler bumped out of delegates, while Ossoff wins 4, while Inamorato and Novick both win 1 apiece. Out of Arizona's primary, Steve Adler will be the projected winner out of this state, and he will win 38% of the vote. Novick wins 31%, Inamorato at 17%, and Ossoff at 11%. And Adler will walk away with 29 delegates, Novick will win 24, Inamorato will win 14. Out of Florida's primary, Steve Adler will win the state's primary, winning 41% of the vote, Steve Novick at 23%, Ossoff at 18%, and Inamorato at 16%. Every candidate will win delegates, but Steve Adler has a 40-delegate lead over the other candidates at 91, Novick's at 51, Ossoff at 40, and Inamorato at 37. Out of Illinois' primary, with the help of Chicagoland, she did very well there, poorly everywhere else. Sarah Inamorato will win Illinois' primary at 35%, Novick at 27%, Ossoff at 19%, and Adler at 18%. Every candidate will win delegates. Inamorato wins 55 delegates, Novick wins 42, Ossoff wins 30, and Adler wins 28. And here's the delegate count after Super Tuesday 2. Steve Novick now takes the lead, bumping both Adler and Ossoff down. Actually, Ossoff was bumped down by both Novick and Adler, if you think about it. Novick is at 606 delegates, Adler at 583, Ossoff at 568, and Inamorato at 506. Out of Wisconsin's primary, Sarah Inamorato will be the projected winner out of the state's primary. She will win 42% of the vote out of Wisconsin, Adler at 32%, Novick at 13%, and Ossoff at 11%. Shocking that Novick didn't win any delegates this year out of Wisconsin, since he has plenty of Rust Belt appeal. However, Sarah Inamorato and Steve Adler will both win delegates. Inamorato wins 47, and Adler wins 37. Out of Alaska's primary, Steve Novick, after a failure in Wisconsin, Steve Novick will take charge in Alaska and win this state's primary, winning 40% of the vote. Steve Adler at 26%, Inamorato at 20%, and Ossoff at 13%. Ossoff doesn't get delegates. Novick will win 7 delegates, Adler will win 5, and Inamorato will win 3. And continuing his reign of dominance out of Wyoming's primary, Steve Novick will be the projected winner. He will win 35% of the vote, Adler wins 28%, Inamorato wins 21%, and Ossoff wins 14%. Ossoff's campaign seems to be on the brink of collapse since he's doing worse and worse in these states. Novick is at 6 delegates, Adler's at 5, and Inamorato's at 3. Out of Ohio's primary, big shock here as many people thought Inamorato was going to win the state of Ohio. It seems like Steve Novick will end up winning here as he will win 38% of the vote. Adler will win 35%, Inamorato at 13%, massive underperformance. She really took this state for granted, and also at 11%. Novick will walk away winning 71 delegates, and Adler will win 65 delegates. And here's the delegate count at the end of April. This is when the 2028 primary season was over. However, we still got 4 candidates. Each has a chance to win the nomination. Adler has 695 delegates. He's taken the lead once again. Novick at 690 delegates. Ossoff at 568, and Inamorato at 559. Out of Kansas primary, Steve Novick will be the projected winner. He will go on to win the state with 43% of the vote. Adler at 30%, Ossoff at 15%, and Innamorato at 10%. Novick will win 19 delegates, Adler will win 13, and Ossoff will win 7. Out of Nebraska's primary, Steve Novick will be the projected winner. He will go on to win with 44% of the vote. Adler at 31%, Ossoff at 13%, and Innamorato at 10%. Novick will win 17 delegates and Adler will win 12. Out of Oregon's primary, this is Steve Novick's home state. He will be the projected winner. He will go on to win a majority of the vote here in the state, winning 50% of the vote. Adler at 24%, Innamorato at 16%, and Ossoff at 8%. Novick will win 33 delegates, Adler will win 17, and Innamorato will win 11. Out of Hawaii's primary, Sarah Innamorato will be the projected winner in a very progressive state. She'll win 33% of the vote here out of Hawaii. Novick will win 29%, Ossoff wins 20%, and Adler wins 16%. Every candidate will win delegates here. Innamorato wins 8, Novick wins 7, Ossoff wins 5, and Adler wins 4. And here's the delegate count at the end of May. Steve Novick once again taking the lead out of the primary. Now it's 766 delegates. Steve Adler at 741, Ossoff at 580, and Innamorato at 578, just 2 behind John Ossoff. Out of Washington, D.C., his first primary win since Super Tuesday, I think. John Ossoff will be the projected winner here, winning 35% of the vote. Sarah Innamorato wins 30%, Adler wins 20%, and Novick wins 15%. Every single candidate will win delegates here. Ossoff wins 7, Innamorato wins 6, Adler wins 4, and Novick wins 3. And out of Indiana, Sarah Innamorato will be the projected winner here. She will go on to win 26% of the vote here. Novick at 25%, Ossoff at 24%, and Adler 23% here. This was a very contested primary out of Indiana. Every single candidate, out of every single batch of the Super Tuesday, I think 4, Super Tuesday 4, Super Tuesday 3, I don't know, the May Super Tuesday. Out of all the primaries that are being contested today, Indiana was the most spent out of all 4 candidates and the most campaigned. And this proves it, as Innamorato is the projected winner just barely. And here's the delegate count, which also reflects that Innamorato wins 22 delegates, Novick wins 21, Ossoff wins 20, and Adler wins 19. Out of Maryland, Sarah Innamorato will be the projected winner. She will go on to win 27% of the vote. Novick wins 26%, Ossoff wins 23%, and Adler wins 22%. Innamorato wins 26 delegates, Novick wins 25, Ossoff wins 23, and Adler wins 22. Out of Montana, Steve Novick will be the projected winner, even though it says Motana. That's a fuck up on my part. Steve Novick will win 36% of the votes. Steve Adler wins 26%, Innamorato wins 21%, and Ossoff wins 15%. Every candidate will win delegates here. Novick wins 7, Adler wins 5, Innamorato wins 4, and Ossoff wins 3. Out of New Mexico, Steve Adler will be the projected winner here, no surprise here, as he wins 29% of the votes. Steve Novick at 26%, Ossoff at 23%, and Innamorato at 20%. Adler will win 10 delegates, Novick wins 9, Ossoff wins 8, and Innamorato wins 7. Out of Pennsylvania, Sarah Innamorato will win her home state's primary very easily, as she wins 61% of the votes. Novick at 13%, Ossoff at 12%, and Adler at 11%. So that means Sarah Innamorato is going to get a big prize of delegates. 106 delegates goes into her column, as she's the only candidate to win 15% or more. Big win for her campaign. And out of Rhode Island, she will also win here, winning 30% of the vote. Novick at 26%, Ossoff at 23%, and Adler at 19%. Innamorato will win 8 delegates, Novick will win 7, Ossoff will win 6, and Adler will win 5. Out of South Dakota's primary, Steve Novick will be the projected winner here, winning 37% of the vote. Adler at 31%, Innamorato at 18%, and Ossoff at 12%. Novick wins 7, Adler wins 6, and Innamorato wins 3. And finally, after a crumbling campaign, borderline fringe campaign, Senator John Ossoff ends his 2032 White House run, and he's endorsing Sarah Innamorato. And Ossoff is, of course, warning that there could be a brokered convention, and he is trying to talk both Steve Novick and Steve Adler to drop out. However, both are very stubborn and are saying no. So maybe Ossoff's warning will not be heeded, but he will be backing Sarah Innamorato. And here is the delegate count heading into the final batch of primary. Steve Novick leads the pack at 845 delegates, Sarah Innamorato at 840, and Steve Adler at 812. Reminder, you need 1,991 delegates to win. At a Guam's primary, Sarah Inamorata will be the projected winner here, winning 57% of the vote, Steve Novick at 28%, and Adler at 14%. Inamorata will win 5 and Novick will win 2 delegates, while Adler wins nothing. Out of the Virgin Islands primary, Sarah Inamorata will be the projected winner here. She will win very similar margins to Guam, and as well as a very similar delegation count, actually the exact same. And here's the delegate count after that. Sarah Inamorata now takes the lead at 850 delegates, Novick at 849, and Adler hasn't changed. Out of Georgia, despite also backing Inamorata, Adler will still do well enough outside of the Atlanta area, kind of dominating the rurals by dictator-like margins over Novick and Inamorata. Adler will be the projected winner out of Georgia, winning 56% of the vote, Inamorata at 22%, and Novick at 20%. Adler will walk away with 59 delegates, Inamorata at 24 delegates, and Novick at 22. Out of West Virginia's primary, Steve Adler will be the projected winner, winning 64% of the vote here, Steve Novick at 21%, and Sarah Inamorata at 14 delegates, just short of the 15% threshold. Adler will win 20 delegates, and Novick will win 8. Out of Kentucky's primary, Steve Adler will be the projected winner here, as he will win 51% of the vote here, Novick will win 25%, and Inamorata will win 22%. Adler wins 28 delegates, Novick wins 14, and Inamorata wins 12. Out of New York's primary, big win for Inamorata here. She does big numbers in the New York City area, as she wins 44% of the vote here, Steve Novick at 33%, and Steve Adler at 21%. Sarah Inamorata gets a big prize of 121 delegates, Novick at 93 delegates, and Adler at 60 delegates. And here's the delegate counts at the end of, I believe, June, as Steve Novick is still in the lead at 1,023 delegates. Actually takes back the lead, I apologize. Sarah Inamorata is at 1,007 delegates, and Steve Adler is at 942. Out of Delaware's primary, Sarah Inamorata will be the projected winner here, winning 38% of the vote, Steve Novick at 33%, and Steve Adler at 28%. Adler wins 8 delegates, Novick wins 7, and Adler wins 6. Out of New Jersey primary, Sarah Inamorata will be the projected winner here. She will win 46% of the vote here. Novick wins 30%, and Adler wins 22%. Inamorata wins 59 delegates out of New Jersey. Novick wins 39, and Adler wins 28. Out of Louisiana's primary, Steve Adler will win this state's primary, no surprise, winning 59% of the vote. Steve Novick at 22%, and Sarah Inamorata doing just enough in New Orleans to crack the 15% threshold. She's at 18%. And Steve Adler will win 32 delegates here. Steve Novick will win 12 delegates, and Sarah Inamorata will win 10 delegates. Out of Puerto Rico's primary, Sarah Inamorata will be the projected winner here, as she will win 41% of the vote out of Puerto Rico. Steve Novick wins 37%, and Steve Adler wins 21%. Inamorata will win 21 delegates, Novick wins 19, and Adler wins 11. And the final primary of the season, yes, I know, out of Connecticut's primary, Sarah Inamorata will be the projected winner here, as she will win 45% of the vote out of Connecticut, Steve Novick at 33%, and Steve Adler at 21%. Inamorata will win 27 delegates, Novick wins 20, and Adler wins 13. And here is the delegate count after every single primary, and we will be going to a brokered convention, it looks like, as Sarah Inamorata is at 1,132 delegates, Steve Novick's at 1,083 delegates, and Steve Novick's at 1,069 delegates. And here is the final primary map of the season before we go into the DNC, the Democrat National Convention, as the states in green are represented by Inamorata victory, states in brown are won by Novick, states in orange are won by Adler, and states in purple are won by Jon Ossoff. The Democrat primary to go to a brokered convention, the Democrat National Convention, will be held in, excuse me, I blanked out, will be held in Phoenix, Arizona this year, and the DNC members, Democrat elected officials, will come to voting between these 3 candidates, and there's going to be a lot of deal making, it looks like. Of course, you need to get a majority of the delegates to win the primary to be nominated, and they'll most likely also be nominating a VP, whether or not it's their nominee's choice. DNC chair James Harrison, who has been serving as the DNC chair since 2021, 12 long years, is backing Sarah Innamorato for president and is trying to convince other DNC officials to back her. This would be a major shift to the left when it comes to nominees, as Joe Kennedy was a very left-wing candidate. However, he had a lot of populist appeal, a lot of nationalist appeal as well. Sarah Innamorato is a DSA member, so this could be a very controversial pick, but it seems like the DNC is backing Sarah Innamorato, or at least the DNC chair is, and he'll be pushing a lot of strings to get her over the finish line. And here are the results of the super delegates. Sarah Innamorato winning the most super delegates at 274, Steve Adler at 250, and Steve Novick at 247. And Innamorato has been nominated by the Democrat National Convention on the second ballot. Steve Adler was bumped off the ballot in most of Adler's votes, with a lot of convincing by apparently John Ossoff and James Harrison to back Sarah Innamorato, so she's got a lot of favors to do for those two. But Sarah Innamorato will be nominated as the Democrat nominee for the 2032 election after a brokered convention. And here is the final delegate count after, the convention roll call. Sarah Innamorato at 2,101 delegates, Steve Novick at 1,330 delegates, and Steve Adler at 1,319. But Sarah Innamorato can't go without a VP, and the DNC has nominated Arizona Governor Marco Lopez Jr. as Sarah Innamorato's running mates. So pretty much we have two very progressive governors from two very moderate states, one going to the left, that'd be Arizona, and one shifting to the right, that'd be in Pennsylvania. Those two states would be needed for the Democrats if they wanted to win this election. However, this is the most far left ticket in the country's in a long time, since I want to say George McGovern, maybe, possibly. But let's see if this backfires on the Democrats or if it's a blessing in disguise. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know, broker convention, who could have guessed? So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. This is the Chaotic One saying peace.